David, I wouldn't know how to introduce you. You are one of the more influential Moroccans worldwide. But there are also a lot of awards, prizes, accomplishments, plays, Grammys, philanthropic concerts. I don't know how to start. So maybe I will just start with something you wrote that is called Because I Am a Jew. And
you know that, huh?
and how would you complete this sentence?
Oh, well, first of all, I want to tell you that I am so honored to be with you today and to be with your wonderful, wonderful media. I'm a huge fan, Enlace Judio,
Thank you so
and
much.
it's such an honor for me. So thank you so much. Muchas gracias for this opportunity. So I will say, so actually, uh, that phrase, because I am a Jew, comes from the play The Merchant of Venice. And it's a play by Shakespeare and a character called Shylock, which I played in New York many times, and I won many awards for it because I played it in a new way that was not done before. So actually, I would say, to turn upside down your question, it's not how I can complete this sentence, but actually it's the end of a phrase. Because I am a Jew, because Shylock says, Antonio has done this to me. He has taken this. He has taken all my friends, everything. He changed me. He took everything. And why? Because I am a Jew. And then he starts his big monologue. Had not a Jew eyes, had not a Jew hands, organs, condition. It's such a beautiful monologue, and even though it's a very dramatic monologue, every night I played it in New York, I cried on stage, like every night. Like you could feel my costume. You could press it like this, and all the water would fall because I was really, really exhausted. Like even when the driver was taking me from the theater to my home, I was falling asleep. So it was like really, really strong. So maybe I would say an optimist because I am a Jew. I will tell you that.
That's wonderful. And your story is also worthy of a play, because born in Paris from parents from Moroccan origin. I myself is a Jew from Lebanon. So
Wow.
yes, so I can really understand where you come from, and how is it that
Wow.
your Moroccan origin had this influence on your career?
Oh, absolutely. It's a very good question. And congratulations for being Lebanese of origin. I dream actually today I went to a Lebanese restaurant, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to go to Lebanon. And you go to Lebanon?
No.
No, I would love to go. I'm dreaming to go. So yeah, so it influenced me a lot because I'm French with Moroccan origins who lives in New York. So, and I'm a Jew, so you have this holy triangle, that is not just one thing, it's three things. So I would say, I think three different ways, So sometimes when a door is closed, the American way would be, sure, no problem, the French way would be, excuse me, please, don't close the door. Maybe we can talk, And the Moroccan will build another door. You know what I mean? We'll build another door, and we'll
Not
make
to
sure.
break the door.
But he will build a door that would be bigger than the door he couldn't open, you know. So I think that's what guided me, and naturally this I would say desire to really, really make people happy, even though sometimes I hate myself, you know, because I'm too ambitious, or I'm too much into my work and not enough for other people, you know. So, but yeah, that's I think how my Moroccan origins guided me. But I think it's more than the Moroccans, the Sephardi origins, the Latin also. So I think there's a certain warmth, you know, about the Sephardim, about the Moroccans, and yeah, it goes by the generosity and you know, in Morocco, it's a lot of a vocal tradition, I call it. Like people talk more than they write, you know. So I would say it's less on the contract. It's more about shaking the hand, and your word is my word, and we bound. And so I try to keep that. That's always very, very important.
Does it work for you?
I'm sorry?
Does it work for you?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I have no choice, you know. Also, but I
Because
would tell you that.
sometimes you have to make a contract, and it has to have
Oh, yeah,
a
trust me,
small,
trust me. But
print.
no, no, you have to. But all the people that I've been working for almost 20 years now, I don't even think we've ever done the contract. You know, it's because there is that trust among each other, that they know that they can give me $1 million in cash. I will not touch a dollar from it, because I am very, very strict, you know, and sometimes I wish I could be more like less strict in my work, you know. Like I want it to be perfect all the time. I wish I could be more. It's okay. It's not the end of the world, you know. So I think it's good to have a balance between both.
Well, it is amazing. And tell us a little bit how a nice Jewish boy from Paris and he's from a Moroccan family gets to have his show on Broadway.
Oh, well, ever since I can remember, I was fascinated by American entertainment, you know, whether it was the movies, whether it was music, whether it was the style of life, I was just fascinated by it. And I always said to myself, oh, you know, one day I go to New York. And even when I was like 10-year-old, I would lie to girls at school and tell them I went to New York, you know, already, you know, and the girls would be like, oh, wow, tell me how it is, you know. So I've always been very attracted by America and by the city, and also what this country can build, you know. And then I realized that America is actually a mix of the whole world, you know. So that's also what is interesting. And then after, you know, I first wanted to learn from the best. So I went to study first to New York. And then after, I wanted to be sure that I would make my name first in my own language, in my country, with people I know, you know, first that I know it's good, and step by step, you know, first London. And then after I was like, okay, now I'm ready to go to New York. And after, you know, I always say, when you can deliver, you know, there is something in you that people are like, well, he can deliver. I don't even need to hear him sing, you know, because there is something in you that you're confident about yourself, because you know that you have worked, not that you're good, not that you're the best, but they know that you have worked hard for it. And I work hard every day to listen to my performances and see how I can improve. And and make all my shows better, you know.
But how do you manage to do so many things in so little time? It is amazing. I was trying to read everything you did, and and it's really amazing. How do you do? Are you very well organized, or how do you
Yes,
do it?
absolutely. You're absolutely right. Thank you for saying that. No, I'm organization is very important. I can show you, I have books, by example, here, where I write everything. This is today, you know, all the stuff I need to do. And then, by example, I have projects that this is what I want to achieve for, let's say, this month. You see, you know, so, and this is a schedule that I have, you see, August, you know, so I put all the stuff. So I not only I get very organized now, but everything that I can do today, I do it today. I never wait for tomorrow, you know. So it's very important for me to always think ahead. I mean, once you realize that there are 24 hours in a day, you know, then I promise you there is just so much you can do. There's so many things you can do in one day, you know. So but you have to be willing to put all of the hours. And then after, once you, by example, you produced a show, 2 shows, 5 shows, now I produce almost 100 shows, you know.
Wow.
So now I kind of I would say I kind of know really how to do it. So I know what I have to do first. You know, first you start with this, then the venue, the casting, the this. Then after you do this, the poster, tack, tack, tack. Then after the promotion, tack, tack, tack. Then before you learn the role, tack, tack. So I learned really how to do multitasking. And that was really my biggest talent, that I was always good to order, you know, whether it was to order what was needed for something, but also to hire people and to give them the right directions, and to coach or brief them or to direct them in a way that I know the job would be done good, you know. And also, it's when you're a manager, when you are basically, I'm the CEO of my own production company, you know. So you're also a mirror of your employees, you know, whether it's the artists, whether it's the staff, whether it's the technicians. And when they see all the devotion that you arrive 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours before the show, and you clean yourself the stage, you know, to be sure it's clean, that you do myself the cleaning in the theater, or even before, when I would clean the theater before to save $65 on the rental, because I said, no, you don't have to pay someone to clean it, I will clean it. So I would do that to save money. And then they see you going to the street before a show to give flyers to people, say, please come to see the show. When they see how much you fight for it, then they respect you a lot. And there is not a single job in everything I do that I don't know how to do, you know. So I know how to direct, I know how to produce, I know how to act, I know how to sing, I know how to write, I know how to sell tickets, I know how to promote a show, I know which show to choose, I know the casting, I know all of that, because I explored it at a time when there was not even internet, you know. So you learn all of it, and after, really, it's a drive. It's always the next one. What's the next story? Where does it take me? By example, I just did the 10 Commandments, you know, which I told you about, the musical. This musical is from France originally, but I adapted it in English and brought it to America, and it was a big success in New York. And now I have all the biggest musicals of France and Italy now, that they want me to bring it to New York and adapt it in English and sing it in English and all of that. So I would have never thought that 2 years ago I would be taking all these big musicals, bringing them to the US. So I kind of follow wherever the story and your life goes, and I think that's really important because it shows that you want to honor the people that you have in front of you. The people who are giving you the opportunity, you honor them, because it's such a human thing to love the people who don't want you, to love the people who did not choose you. So I do the opposite. Is whatever comes to me, I say thank God, thank you, and I do it 100%.
Are you religious? Are you really a religious guy? Are you a believer?
Oh yeah, well, it's funny. It's I don't do all the Jewish holidays. Okay. Obviously, I don't do Shabbat, or even though I try to do it as much as possible. But I would tell you that I have such a connection with God, with the culture and everything. And I think you went beyond that. It's now I feel really connected to everybody, regardless of your religion. Like I became very close to, since the Abraham Accords, to a lot of the Muslim people, which as Jews, we didn't really know, Muslims from Saudi Arabia, we were never met, from Emiratis, from, and now, of course, I knew a lot from Morocco and Maghreb, but now, thanks to that, we meet all these people, and I have so many people from Egypt, from all of these beautiful countries, who write me on Fridays on Twitter or Facebook. People I don't know, they write me Shabbat Shalom, my brother, and we write Shabbat Alikum, So it's so beautiful, and they send your hearts or the pictures when they are with their family, and they're like, we wish to all our Jewish brothers a nice Hanukkah holiday or something like that. So it's really a new era. And so to me, religion is also about that. In French, religion, it's relier, which means to link.
Unite. Yes.
Yeah, link. Yeah, unite. As exactly, you're absolutely right. And to unite, and I think that's what it is today. You see, today I was on a television in France, a big TV show, and the woman who interviewed me is Muslim, and we spoke about all of that, about this connection, and like I told her the story that I was at the restaurant, and there was a poor guy who was asking for food. And I was like, okay, I'm going to finish and I'm going to go to this guy and give him some money. And I saw a guy who took boxes of food and brought him food, like maybe for a month, and he walked by me, and I said, that was very nice what you did. And he said, it's Allah who told me to do it. So I'm like, whatever religion, whatever you're religious, what matters is the good thing that you can do here today,
Of course. And before we get to Moses, you have been playing Shylock, the Yiddish King Lear.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm so glad you say that. So the Yiddish King Lear, it doesn't mean that it's King Lear done in Yiddish, So actually, the real title of the Yiddish King Lear is the Jewish King Lear, okay. Because Yiddish in Yiddish means Jewish.
Okay.
So it's a play that was done originally in Yiddish by Jacob Gordon, who was, people calling him the Jewish Shakespeare, and he wrote this beautiful play based on King Lear, of this father who has 3 daughters, and they don't, one wants to do that, one wants to do that, then he leaves the home, he becomes blind, but he throws away his daughter, but he misses her. And I did it, I recorded it, and it was the first time that play was ever recorded. And I modernized it also. so that it didn't sound like too old English. And yeah, and it plays now in a lot of places. And I added also Yiddish songs. And at some point he sings "My Yiddish Mama," and the audience was like crying. Everybody was crying in the room, because he's blind and he's saying "My Yiddish Mama," So it was, a beautiful moment. Yeah, but you see, I learned a lot from that character. In every character I played, whether it was Shylock, whether it's Cyrano, Othello, Nabucco, Don Juan, etc., I learned a lot. You have, that's one of the greatness of being an actor, is that you can take from other people, because you are them, you become them, So when I see that, by example, Shylock wants to get revenge on money that he's being robbed, so now I'm like, oh, okay, that happened to me when I was robbed. And I was like, okay, be careful, because if you seek too much of the revenge, you'll end up with nothing and you will lose everything, So, and it turned out right, because I got at the end 10 times more. But it's you definitely take a lot. And I took a lot from that character of the Yiddish King Lear, because it was Reb Davidol, that's his name, Reb Davidol. And he took a lot, his sensitivity, and I took a lot from Moses, which I just played,
Tell us a little bit about Moses.
Oh, wow. Well, it's obviously from that musical, The Ten Commandments. And so ever since I could remember, the original guy who played Moses, his name is Daniel Levy, and he is from France. And I saw him, and I saw this guy being strong and all of that, and not being a playboy or being a seducer or being rich in any ways or being a king or being anything like that. But this guy who wants to change, who wants to free his people, who talks to God, who wants to really is carried by something. And that was what I wanted to do. So, of course, when you play the character of Moses, the way I build it is I wanted to build it very differently of any ways that this character was ever done before. So I really played it. I love to say it, but I really played it as a Shakespearean role. So at the beginning, he's very, joyful in everything. Then he understands what happens with his mom, his original mom who put him in the Nile. And then he's sent to exile and he's completely lost. He had everything. He was the richest man in the world. He was the son of Pharaoh, and then all of a sudden he has lost everything, and then he's happy. He has a piece of wood, a staff. He's taking like some sheep to go to the mountains. He has nothing, but he is happy. Then he meets God, and then he understands his mission that he has to take to carry all the people. And then he has that confrontation scene with Pharaoh. And at the end, again, he carries the people. He arrives in front of the Red Sea. And all the Jews go to him and say, why you took us out of Egypt? The army of Pharaoh, they're going to kill us. And there is a sea in front of us. So he doubts. He doesn't know what to do. And then he remembers, because he said to God, he said, you want me to go to Egypt, but I'm not a soldier. I'm not a warrior. No one would listen to me, And God told him, I will be there for you. So that's when he calls God, and then boom, the sea opens, But even after, he goes to God and get the 10 commandments, and then he gives the 10 commandments in such a way that he wants people to understand that men and women need laws. We need laws. We need to be told, you cannot do that. Otherwise, I don't like you, I take a gun, I shoot you. Oh, I don't like you, I take a gun, I shoot you. No, we need laws to exist. And also at the end, he ends with a beautiful message of love, because he says that, and that's what also I said at the end of the show. I said it's the oldest story of all time, is 5,000 years old, 3,000 years old. It's the oldest story of all time, but yet it's the most modern one, because there is adversity, there is hate crimes and all of that. And what I say is that we have learned nothing over this last 5,000 years, because people fight for the same reason. You see what's going on in Ukraine and throughout the world. And I say, what's the most frustrating is that we today, tonight, we can change that and build a better place just with little things. You don't have to change the world, just little things. And that's why the character of Moses is so amazing, that he constantly reminds you that you can do things, positive things.
A man with a mission.
Mm.
And what is your mission, David?
My mission is to read your website every day. So no, my only mission my only mission is really to continue to do the work I do the best way possible. And I'm so happy because as things are moving, I get also different things. Like I did a movie about Eli Tahari, a fashion designer.
Yes, that was amazing. How did you discover it? How did you discover him?
Well, yeah, I'm the producer of the New York Sephardic Jewish Film Festival in New York, for which I thank you a lot, because you always write a word about it. So thank you so much. And then I decided to give him an award one night, and then after we got in touch, we continued to be in touch, and then COVID started, and I was like, okay, I cannot do shows anymore for a year at least, so let's start and do a movie, a documentary. And so I had the time to learn how to edit video. I learned how to film, how to become a filmmaker, basically. And I'm so happy, because in a way, you see, every time something bad happens, there is always some good in it, So when there was COVID, there was no more work. But then guess what? I had the time to learn how to film, So there is always some good into it. And it's free to learn today, because you can go on YouTube and learn tutorials and stuff like that. So it was, I did that movie, and it was very, very successful. He played over 100 film festivals. He won dozens of awards, and I'm so happy. And now I have six new movies. Six. That half of them I filmed already. So now I'm doing the editing, and three of them I'm still. I'm sorry?
Simultaneously, the six?
Yeah. No, I didn't film them like in the same time, but it kind of because once you film, it takes time for treatment. It takes time also for schedule, to be sure everybody's available, especially an interview on the documentary. Also, it takes time to get the archives. It takes time to get the permission of one archive. For example, I have a movie now that I'm doing. I filmed it in December. I am still waiting for the authorization of archives of other films, So if I would have had just one movie, then I will be waiting, 6 months, like without anything. So because I have all stuff, I keep constantly moving on all the projects, So you see, you never know where life can take you, and that's the beauty of it,
What are the films about?
So one is about a big filmmaker in France who is actually Sephardi. Her name is Lisa Azuelos, and she's very important, because all the movies that I'm doing, it's all about a person who started from nothing and who changed their own industry. So she really changed filmmaking because she started to do films also about the Sephardic woman, about the Jewish woman. So it was a narrative that was not interesting for a lot of people, but it was not interesting because nobody heard it. So it was very interesting, actually, how she brought it. And it's actually more interesting than any other narratives that you could hope. And another one is about a filmmaker called Elie Chouraki. So he's older, so it's like an old school of French filmmaking, which is very interesting. And one is about a pianist called Hélène Grimaud, a classical pianist, is number one. Another one is about a sculptor named Richard Orlinsky, who does sculpture of animals and everything, but he changed the way you consume arts. Like, he brings the museum in the streets of Paris, so he's really a genius for that. And that's also part of the things that I wanted to show. These people who change their own industry.
But they are also Jewish, no?
Oh, yeah. But I don't choose them because they're Jewish. I choose them because they're really, really great. Now, to be honest with you, sometimes you send a request to do a documentary about someone, and that person will say, oh, it's not the right time, or I don't know, I have to think about it. What I like also with Jews is that they're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. They're like, no problem. So that's one thing I really love with them.
What are your plans?
I'm sorry.
What are your plans for the future?
Well, for the future is to finish these movies. So it's a lot of work, and I'm going to do that this summer. I finished the recording, actually, of the musical, The Ten Commandments, the album. So I'm very happy about it. And I have more recordings to do. And also, I'm thinking to bring to Miami a lot of my shows. So it's I have to start to look into it, and yeah, the movie, the shows. I have also concerts. I hope to go to see you in Mexico City.
Well, I would be.
I would be honored. I would be honored.
You, really.
Oh, absolutely. And really, I really dream to go to Mexico. I've been really all around the world. The only thing I never did was Latin America, so that's why I really want to change that. And I want to perform in Mexico, but also to Brazil, to Argentina, to all these beautiful culture, to Colombia. But Mexico City, it's something very special. And one of my mentor, who is Placido Domingo.
Yes. You were to the opera competition founded by
exactly. No, exactly. Also, no, and he selected me.
You also
he selected me like yes? About, I think it's like 13 years ago now, and he selected me, and he understood that the best way also to make an artist grow is competition. So you want to be better. So you want, and I must say that competition was really for me a game changer, because I think I was at that competition. I was 28 or 29 years old, which was really a baby. And I saw singers who were 23, 22 years old, who were singing like superstars already. And I was like, wow, I am so late, actually. So that's good. Sometimes a little push. And that really inspired me when you are with someone like Placido, who is working nonstop. And you think I did a lot, like look at what Placido did. And also his way of communicate the opera and communicate his talent. That's really also what I love to do when I direct, is also to give, I would say, gift, to other talents who are already very talented, but what I learned, I want to give it to them, you know. So, but also they have to be willing to take it from you also,
But you are
because you
also
cannot take
teaching.
something and put it in someone's head.
You are also teaching?
Yes, sometimes I teach voice sometimes, but very, very rarely, very rarely. But I'm very good more for directing. Like I direct, but also I will remove the bad, and put the good better. So in a way, it's teaching also, because you improve the singer, whether it's vocally, whether it's on the acting. There's a lot to it, and I learn also a lot. I learn a lot when I teach, when I direct. So it's very inspiring every day. It's the part I love the most, is the rehearsals. Performance is like the sport, it's like, going to the gym and you go to run and you get uploaded and you take pictures and all of that. It's like going to a party, but really what I really love is the rehearsals. That's really where I grow, where I become better. It's really the rehearsals.
And what do you think is the difference between the European culture and the American culture? Because sometimes the American culture is a little bit more superficial, in my opinion. But I don't know what you think.
No, I think you're right, and it has also another aspect, which is money. The money, the financials are more important also in America than in France. I also believe that it would have been good that this is also the case in Europe, so that people will not just focus on getting money from the government, but also to do better quality shows so that the audience can buy tickets. This is why it's happening in America, But let's not forget that one big talent that Americans have is to take anything and to make it popular, and to make it fashionable, to make it trendy, to make it accessible. Like I discovered opera when I lived in New York. I would have never discovered opera if I would have stayed in Paris, because you can never find a ticket to buy a ticket to opera in Paris. Forget it, it's impossible. It really has good in both, good with the American culture and good in the European culture. And I feel very privileged because I'm able to do both, like to take the European culture to bring it to America. So I show them emotions. I show them a certain sensitivity that they don't have in America. And also I take the showmanship, the extravaganza of America, and I bring it to Europe when people are a little bit sometimes like that. So it's very rewarding and enriching to have all these, I would say, mix of both cultures coming together. But I need a break. Like I cannot leave 3 years in a row just in America. Like the more it goes, and the more I need to do like a few months there. Then after I come to 1 month in Europe, then after I come back, and yeah, I need that, because that's also here where I get inspiration. And because in America it's like work, 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 work.
Well, I am really very happy to have met you. And would you like to sing something?
Well, I would do this. De la sierra morena, cierito lindo, vienen bajando un par de ojitos negros, cierito lindo, de contrabando. Now you go. Ay, 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 canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegra, cierito lindo, los corazones. So I cannot sing too loud because I think the neighbors, they're going to come and,
Well,
I sing very little. I can do, bésame, bésame. But when I will go to Mexico, I will sing all this stuff. Granada, I sang or the mariachi. I really love this repertoire. I love Luis Miguel. I love to sing El Dia Que Me Quieras. I sing all this stuff. It's so passionate, the Latin music. It's really, it's very Middle Eastern actually also. Because in Middle Eastern, a lot of the men singers, you think they are senseless, but actually when they sing and you translate the lyrics, it's like, you took my eyes, I lost my eyes, since you're gone, I can't see, you know what I mean? It's very simple lyrics. Oh yeah, no, and so powerful. That's really what what is inspiring, and I want to go to Lebanon. When I will go, I will call you, and I will show you. Look.
About your parents, David?
Oh well, my dad was born in Morocco.
Yes.
And my mother was born in Iran.
Wow.
So they both went to Israel, and they met in Israel. And they didn't fall in love. Kidding.
No?
And they met in Israel, and after they moved to France, and I was born in France. But I have two amazing parents, and that's also one of the reasons.
Do you mean they didn't fall in love? They had to fall in love.
No, they did.
You are a love child.
Always arguing, but that's why I joke about it. But the one of the reasons why I come back now a lot to Europe and a lot to Paris is to see them more often, because you never know how long you're going to have them. So I want to enjoy every single minute I can with them. Definitely,
They must be very proud of you, David.
Well, I hope. It was a long time. It was actually very exciting, because they were like, come on, what you gonna do? You're not gonna make it, So it was a lot of this, but I understand, because it's not the culture. For them, work is you go to an office or you work in a restaurant. Like it's not like work from home. They don't understand work behind the computer. They're like, what is it exactly? Like you buy stocks. How? But where is the money concretely? Where they used to work with their body and sweat, and they get the money and bring it home. So that's really their I would say their tradition. So when I arrive in our first generation to say, no, I want to be a musician, I want to be a singer, then that was tough. If now will come and start to be a musician, it would be easier. But when I started 25 years ago, it was really another story, because, it was, you want to have a real job, be a waiter, be a cook in a restaurant, So it was really, really another time, But now they're very proud. Now, of course, they're very proud, because I also can afford to take them to vacation, to invite them to vacation, to offer them gift, to help them, even though they don't need help now, but to really, and I think it relaxes them to know that one child, made it and is all set, financially, and he's okay and has a career, and we always be able to bounce back. Like even if I fall, I know I would always fall. I would always bounce back, because that happened to me. I fell many times, but I always went back stronger and bigger, always.
Well, congratulations, and thank you so much.
Gracias, muchas gracias.
Gracias a ti.
Thank you, and thank you really for all the great work you're doing, May. You're such an amazing woman, and you're working so hard, and you're so cultured, and you know so much about everything. It's really, really a big honor for me, and you putting so much work to celebrate the Jewish culture, and the Jewish dialogue, and Judaism in general. So to be with you today, it really means a lot for me. So I hope I come to Mexico very soon. So gracias. Gracias.
Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias. Thank you.